Desired state. For this project, we have to deliver a well-documented description of all the Qronnecting project's parts as they appear in the PMBOK. Present state. We know all the details of the project but have not identified the parts according to the PMBOK. In the analysis and comparison, we figured out that the parts of the project are not congruent with the PMBOK's information. The problem state and outcome will depend on whether the received information is good or incongruent, incorrect or incomplete. One of the most important processes in a project is to identify stakeholders in order to create a SMART objective for the project. In this case, Qronnecting states that the direct stakeholders of the project are citizens, tourists, students, businessmen, and housewives, because many of them are the beneficiaries of the implementation of the project or they are developing the project. The indirect stakeholders could be the company that provides the internet service because it's not involved in the implementation of the project. For further analysis, we present some of the 47 processes of the PMBOK that were present in each stage of the 5 stages in Qronnecting. Planning stage. As Qronnecting states, the scope of this project is to cover the whole city with free internet. We found relevant for this scope that a short and midterm goal are mentioned in the project. Their short-term goal is to provide the city with free, secure, and good quality internet, so citizens may have access to information. Their midterm goal is build an intelligent city based on multiple technological solutions, making Querétaro a city of first-world connectivity. This helps the project to be kept on track and achieve the real scope of the project. The identified processes on the executing stage are direct and manage project work. For the project, the responsibilities of directing and managing rely on the Systems and Technology Department of the Municipality of Querétaro. Conduct procurement. In the project, all the modems, antennas, and routers that were used in the project were managed and acquired by the government. We inferred that as in all governmental projects, a licitation was made and the best seller was selected. Controlling. For this stage, we inferred that each phase was controlled within. By saying this, we mean that each stage of the project was controlled as a mini project within a bigger project. By this premise, we assume that the project followed a spiral model or something alike, and that with each iteration, the processed goal can be achieved. Closing. As stated before, by the inference that this project uses a spiral model, closing each stage is crucial in order to make the other stages run smoother than the one before. This comes in very handy because of the similarity of each stage. So a well-developed closing stage with discussion or feedback from all the workers involved in the stage and building some kind of manual could be very fructiferous and help if new people are added to the team in further stages, making adaptation easier. Measuring is perhaps the most important part of the risk management process, categorizing it into how much impact it'll have if executed. Measurement. We consulted people working in the area with high knowledge of the project, like engineer Nestor Sanchez of the municipality's computer systems direction. Strengths. We know the phases of the PMBOK and we have information about the phases of the project. The weakness on our project relies on the information received on the project. Like mentioned before, the problem state and outcome will depend on whether the received information is good or incongruent, incorrect, or incomplete. Recommendations. There are many quantifiable and non-quantifiable data which will mark the end of the project. Customer satisfaction is the main goal, which will be quantified by a set of surveys in the matter of service quality, availability, and customer use. Usage data, as well as public surveys, will be gathered in order to have real statistics, which will be used to optimize the hotspots and extend the areas of implementation to the ones that the users use the most. After finishing all the project phases, the person in charge will declare the project is finished, reporting the final user statistics. When the deliverables of the project are completed, the last set of processes formalizes the acknowledgement that the project is complete and brings it to an orderly end. Conclusion. Even though we weren't able to see how each process of each stage was reflected in Qronnectate, this discussion and analysis helped us in a way that we did not anticipate when starting this research. We put ourselves in a position of people involved in the project, particularly in the closing and executing stages where we make the most of our inferences. So putting ourselves in this big project helped us see how following a spiral model could help to get to a success stage in a better way than trying to do it all at once. We learned that the PMBOK comes in handy because it was built by experts, but most importantly, not to follow it as a rigid structure, but more like a malleable structure to help the most in any project. From the 47 processes of the PMBOK, we only took into consideration the ones that could really help us by analyzing beforehand each of them and their possible impact in the project.
Created using Powtoon.